what I think this study shows is how people can reason wisely over issues that are profoundly meaningful to them, which they often don't reason wisely about in daily life. And what we found was essential was getting people to get some distance from the issue they were thinking about. I think many people have the experience of having a friend come to them with a problem that they're emotional about, and that for whatever reason they can't think straight about. And it's very easy for us to advise that person on how they should think, feel, or behave, right? We're not in the situation, we can be objective. What we did in these studies was we asked the question, what if we were able to get a person to think about their own problem as if their problems were someone else's problems? That's what getting distance from the self is all about, in a certain sense. It's getting people to reason about their own highly emotional, highly meaningful issues from a more detached, objective perspective. So what can people do on a daily basis to reason wisely? We've investigated a few different strategies that people can use to get distance from the self in these studies, as well as other experiments that we've done in the past. One technique that we're finding is powerful is a really simple one. It's a simple linguistic technique. Rather than saying, why am I feeling this way, a person might just use their own name. They might ask themselves, well, my name's Ethan, so I might say, why is Ethan feeling this way? In another experiment, we find that simple shift in how people think about the self, why am I versus why is Ethan someone else, powerfully transforms the way people think, feel, and behave. And that's one way I think that people can get distance. Another thing people can do is adopt the perspective of a detached observer. So let me give you an example. If you're imagining how an experience might unfold to yourself, try to see yourself in that experience. So try to adopt the perspective of a fly on the wall, so to speak. Right? See yourself interacting with whomever it is that you may have to interact with in this potentially troublesome situation. That too is an effective way of distancing. Let me tell you why I think wisdom is so interesting to me, and it links back to the experiments that we did. I think people can be wise in certain domains but not others. And this is true for lots of different groups. So I think some people can be unbelievably wise when doling out advice to their friends and colleagues, but when it comes to themselves and their own problems, they display unbelievably high levels of unwise judgment, right? And I think you could see this if you look to the newspaper basically on any day of the week, right? So we have unbelievably smart politicians and world leaders who are incredibly wise in some situations, but incredibly unwise in others. And what we're really interested in exploring is how you can get a person to be wise across the board. What makes it so easy for a person to be wise in one situation, but so easy to be unwise in another? That to us is a real challenge. It's about figuring out how wisdom works.